Hello and welcome to Listen Up Lilith. My name is Lilith and it's time to listen up. We're going to answer a question. When should I use scissors or a roller cutter? Now yes, YouTube, straight up, there's going to be blades in this video. There is going to be scissors in this video, but it is purely for crafting purposes. No one is going to be harmed. The only thing that's going to be harmed is my dignity, but that's about it. Yes, so there are... Okay. So, scissors and roller cutters both have their own purposes. If they do the same thing. They cut fabric, they cut whatever you're working with. I personally will stick with fabric for these, but they both have their own benefits and cons, like pros and cons. So long as they're sharp and easy, you can really use any of them, but I will show you why, options as to why you would do anything. Personally, I feel like what is going to come out of my mouth today is going to actually be more in favor of the roller cutter, but I will explain why in a second, okay? Okay, so I have my two strips of fabric here today. These are both strips of the Yayahan 4-way pleather, metallic pleather stretch. Yep, I need this for a project anyway, so I'm doing this while we're doing the thing. And we're going to cut one strip with scissors and one strip with a roller cutter. They actually have a lot more fabric attached to them, but for example's sake, we're going to do this on the board. They're both about 9.5 centimeters wide, and we're just going to cut that straight down the middle with both. Now, I have to do this one-handed, so forgive me if it's a little bit janky. So, starting with my scissors, you have the full control using scissors. You know how to use scissors. You literally just slip under there and you follow along the line. Easy to do. And so long as they stay nice and sharp, you can go through this in increments. You can have fun with this. Normally you would be holding this with two hands, but of course I don't currently have a little tripod or anything to set this up. But yeah, easy done. Easy done. Cut, smooth, done. And now let's do the exact same thing with a roller cutter. Now, roller cutter literally is basically like a pizza cutter, but for your fabric, in that you just glide it in one smooth motion until the end, and you put it away. Yay! Fresh cut, done. Okay, so I just got a delivery and I got my little Bluetooth microphone, so let's see if this is any good. So let's go through these pros and cons of scissors versus roller cutter. I'm going to start with scissors because, they're generic. They're the obvious ones. Forgive me while I'm multitasking. So scissors, they're the generic. They're your easily accessible go-to that everyone knows. You know how to use scissors. You use them for everything. So because of the accessibility, I'm going to say that a pro is you can get them anywhere. You can get them anywhere. You don't specifically need to get fancy fabric scissors. You can go to a, like I've said in the past, you can go to a $2 shop and grab a pair of scissors from there and just dub those as your fabric scissors until they dull down and you can't use them for fabric anymore. That is the best way, honestly, because they are so cheap and they are everywhere. You can get them anywhere, any price. You can even get them in left-handed scissors. The accessibility is out there. It's great. You also can, I'm just going to say it as another pro, you can resharpen your blades by cutting tinfoil. I feel like that's a well-known fact at this point, but that's because I hear it everywhere. It's probably not a well-known fact, and I'm just, dumb. But yeah, if you find that your scissors are not sharp enough anymore, you can grab some scrap tinfoil, bunch it up, and then literally just go to town, just chip away at it. And honestly, that I've found that does actually sharpen your blades a little bit, even if it is just to give it an extra little boost at a little bit of a longer life. That is just something that I've noticed, and it's a really easy and affordable way to sharpen your scissors without having to get one of those fancy tools. Another pro, of course, is that you are actually able to use these anywhere. And when I say anywhere, I will bring this up with the roller cutter. But if you find that it's much more comfortable to cut something a little bit closer so you see where you're going and you need the fine details, you can do that. That is, I'm putting that as a pro right now, and I'll explain why in a second. The You can also get into the fine details. It doesn't matter how big or how small they are. You can get to the fine details and into the little corners and things like that. Scissors, I mean, they're your universal that you'll go to. Everyone knows the great things with scissors. Some of the cons, however, if you're specifically getting fabric scissors, some people will literally just sell your generic scissors, like say these are a pair of the $2 scissors that I've gotten from a $2 shop time and time again, and they'll basically just mark that up and sell it as fabric scissors, so there is that novelty out there, thinking that they are specifically fabric scissors, but they're really not. And kind of, I like to describe it like Funko Pops, how you can get the same character multiple times but in different designs. Like this one's covered in glitter, this one is blue and white, this one is Pride Edition, this one is for breast cancer, things like that. That kind of thing is out there all the time and you really don't need it. I can't help it. As well as another con being over time, the more you use your scissors, that constant gripped motion that you're holding your hand in. And I've recently been noticing this because I've been going to a chiropractor recently, and besides my hips and my legs and my shoulders, she's noticed that because I type all day and because I'm always sewing, holding the scissors like this, when I hold my fabric going through a machine, I use my right hand especially going like that, so it's always kind of in that position where it's very tight. It can cause things like carpal tunnel. I've noticed some people have that. Sometimes you get that crampy feeling down your thumb, sometimes down your arm. New tattoo, by the way. And it can be very uncomfortable, and it can get you to stop from doing the everything at once, and it can be very uncomfortable after a while. That being said as well, I know I mentioned scissors come in accessibility for everyone. So sometimes you do have to spend a little bit more money if you are a left-handed person and you feel more comfortable getting a left-handed pair of scissors. I personally, I may be blind, but that's because I'm a right-handed normie, who is the only thing about me that's normal. I'm a right-handed normie, so I'm used to using just any generic pair of scissors. I don't notice any difference between right-handed and left-handed scissors, but I know that for some ergonomic accessibility, it's just there. Sorry, Nedlanders, I don't see the point. I just see it as a cash grab personally. That's just a me thing, because it doesn't affect me. So that's me, at least. And I know that can be really hard on people with arthritis, so that is really annoying. The last thing is, even though you can sharpen the blades with tinfoil, over time, sometimes specifically the tip does dull faster. So if you're trying to do little details, like you're just trying to get a corner, it's harder and harder to do over time. Or if you're just doing threads, little sections of your blades can dull in different increments depending on how you use it. I've noticed that, but again, that's just scissors. Yeah. Moving on. Those are my, at least, brief pros and cons. My first pros and cons that you're going to notice with scissors. No, there's one more. The big one, why I actually made this video in the first place. When you are cutting with scissors, at times, depending on what fabrics you use, it doesn't really matter if it's pleather or if it's cotton or if it's, spandex or anything like that, but it does happen more with slippery fabrics, like spandex and these metallic pleathers and things like that. They do have a tendency when you cut with the scissors, it depends on how many layers you're using, but I have noticed at times when you're cutting with the scissors, the fabric can slide around and you can get slightly mismatched pattern pieces, which is really annoying. And I know I deal with that so often. It doesn't matter how many times I pin it. It doesn't matter how many times and how many, you know, wonder clips I'm using. I just find that the fabric moves around and it's really frustrating, and that's something that I really can't avoid at this point. So that's just something I have to put up with and just, you know, yeah, but that's when you're using scissors. Okay, I've already talked too long about scissors, so let's move on to roller cutters. Now, roller cutters are a novelty. Like I just said, that they are basically a pizza cutter, but for your fabric. It is very smooth to work with. It is actually really nice to work with. When you are cutting things, you're kind of essentially pushing your weight down and pushing everything down in place so the fabric won't slide around. It is very smooth at times. Especially when you first start out with them, it is very smooth, and it is very satisfying to get such a clean, smooth, you know, one move cut, and you're not getting that jaggedy edge that you sometimes get from scissors because you were cutting in increments with them. Yeah, and they are a novelty. They are fun. They do seem to, these days they have more of that curved grip that is better ergonomically to work with and to hold. And with this, at least this one in particular, it has a little push out which becomes kind of a thumb rest, and then a guide with your, if you're guiding with your thumb, that is much easier to hold and to handle. You're not having that constant motion. And I find a lot more people respond to that really well. But that's not the case with all roller cutters. This is just the one that I got off Temu. Moving into the cons, because unfortunately this also has cons. Like I said, roller cutters are a novelty. They really are a novelty. They are just a different way to cut your pieces, but they do have their limitations. And because they are a novelty, the price of them tends to go up because they are a specialty novelty item. Like companies that sell them tend to mark the price up. Yeah, so I see, I know at my local emporium I can actually get like a paper roller cutter, which is like the smallest round blade that you can get on like a tiny stick that's maybe the width of these blades of scissors, for like $8. That's NZD. I'm pretty sure there's like $5 NZD. Sorry, USD. I may be wrong again, but yeah, that is the thing that is happening, which is really frustrating. Yeah, so the prices jump up, but for like normal sizes of roller cutters, I've seen ones roughly the same size of this one go for about $45 NZD. I have no idea what that is in USD, but it's less than that. But yeah, that's still a lot for us. That is still a lot. And with more and more novelty and with more and more demand, the price just, you know, keeps going up because, again, shush, they keep selling different versions of the same thing and saying it has a specialty need or it has a specialty use. No, if anything has a specialty use, it is usually down to what you decide that specialty use is. Yeah. The other thing with roller cutters is, even though you are putting the same amount of weight onto the product and you're putting the same amount of weight into what you're cutting, don't worry, the guard's up, I'm not going to double blade, but even though you're using it in one smooth motion, for whatever reason, and I've noticed this with multiple pairs of roller cutters, sometimes the blade will dull in one spot in particular, and when it goes around in its 360, that one spot will not cut properly. I don't know what causes this. I don't know what's happening with this. I can't explain it personally. I just don't know. I don't know if people are like rolling over needles or anything like that. I don't do that. Or at least I try not to do that. Yeah. I don't know what's happening there. I really don't. I can't explain that. It's just a mystery. At least to me, which is really frustrating, but that's fine. We can deal with that. Yeah, that being said, I don't know myself, so I don't advise trying the same tinfoil method on the roller cutter blades. I don't know if that'll work. I still feel like you'll cut through it and then into whatever surface you are cutting on. Yeah, it's you're still, at the end of the day, you're cutting onto a surface, and that is what's dulling the blade ultimately, not the fabric, or not whatever you're cutting. Yeah. Also, I know I haven't uploaded the things you don't need for sewing to get started with sewing, but self-healing cutting mats, just as a note, they call themselves self-healing cutting mats. They don't self-heal. They're created out of a plastic and a vinyl that over time it makes it look like the cuts are, like the slice marks have gone away and that it's healed itself. It's really not. They're still there. But yeah, they market these as being better for your blades and better for whatever you're cutting with, whether it be a roller cutter, an X-Acto knife, anything like that. No, that's not the case. These are just expensive pieces of vinyl. This came from Kmart for like $15, so I'm not mad. And it's pretty flexible and pretty sturdy, so I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that. I'm not going to spend $60 on a green self-healing cutting mat. Yeah, no, they're not better for your blades. They do the exact same thing, and it's really frustrating to see people mark up the price and all that stuff. It's just really frustrating. It's really frustrating, at least for me, because I don't want to see people waste their money on a product that doesn't work for them. And then of course they've tried it, so that means it's damaged, which means they can't, return it. That was a little rant, and I apologize, but that being said, because you cannot, I don't advise, at least, I don't advise I don't advise trying to fix your blades with the tinfoil method. You then need to replace the entire blade, and that can get pricey. I'm really lucky that this one that I got from Temu for like, I don't know, $15, it came with additional blades. It came with 2 additional blades in its own little case. I appreciate that, thank you. And it has, the name, the 45mm, I'm pretty sure that's diameter, of the blade. I don't know, pretty sure. Yeah, it comes with that, but getting replacement blades is not that cheap. I have a feeling I'm going to end up going online and seeing these, like, one blade for maybe $10. I don't know. That just feels like a lot, and I don't know. It's been a long time since I've used a rotary cutter, so I can't say how much, how long it's going to last until I start noticing defects. Let's have a look at this. Replacement blades. That's a specific center. That's not the one that I've got. Ooh! Olaf RB45-10 replacement blades. $60. How many blades is that? Oh god. Oh dear god. Oh, it's a pack of 10. Okay, so it's $6 a blade. Still not good, because that is still a specific type. Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. Oh yeah, no, there we go. There's the Fiskars Rotary Straight Blade 45mm titanium. $20.99 from Discount Office. Yep, it's very pricey. It's very pricey, and I hate it. I'm frustrated by it. Why is it so expensive? Ugh, I don't even know if I can find these replacements on Temu. So it may be 3 blades and I'm out. So we'll find how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. So those, at least, are my pros and cons from my experience working with both scissors and rotary cutters. There's like other little things, like it depends on if your scissors will cut through maybe more than 4 layers of fabric at a time, and then the rotary cutter, for example, that's another con, actually. To work with a rotary cutter, you need to rest it on a surface. Like I said, you need to put the weight down on the surface. So you can't just, pick something up and go like, oh, I'm gonna go grab a snack. No, you're gonna hurt yourself. It's not smart. Just don't do that. But yeah, those are at least my pros and cons. I know I waffled for quite a bit. I apologize. But yes, I hope the new microphone works. This, again, I think just came from Temu, because I'm a cheap bitch. So, I don't know. We'll try these things out. Yeah, you also should stop seeing the little PixArt logo in the corner, because I paid for a subscription, yay, so we're gonna have a little bit of better quality stuff, hopefully. Here's hoping. I don't know, let's see how it goes. Let's give it a go. I've still got a lot of things to do, so I'm gonna continue with my projects for the day. I'm gonna go have a glass of water. This is my list of things I need to do. Let's see how many I actually get done by the end of the day. Wish me luck, and happy crafting. Be safe. Be safe, please. Be safe. That is always be safe, no matter what kind of blade you use. By the way, I know I talked about an X-Acto blade, but don't cut fabric with an X-Acto blade. No, it's too small. Use this for detail work and not fabric. Use this for literally anything but fabric. It will just pull and tear. No, don't use those. Okay. Happy crafting. Goodbye. See you later. Bye bye bye.